Hello everyone, and welcome to another series from MLG Columbus 2011. My name is Axel, and for this series we have ROOTFayth, the Protoss player, in the red at the top right of Typhon Peaks, and in the bottom right of Typhon Peaks we have the blue Terran player VTPokebunny. Now let's discuss how these two players got to this point and where they're at. This is the losers bracket round 8, so that means both of these players lost in the winners bracket. More specifically, VTPokebunny, actually it said DNS, so I'm assuming that means did not start. And I think I remember reading a story or something about how VTPokebunny was late or something, so he was forced to forfeit, and that's why he's right here, right now. And on the other side of the map, ROOTFayth was actually taken out in round 2 of the winners bracket at MLG Columbus, and well, he's been in the losers bracket for a long time, considering this is losers round 8, so he has definitely beat a lot of players to get to this point, to get to play VTPokebunny. So super excited to see how this turns out. And a little bit about their ladder statistics. VTPokebunny is actually 79th in the North American Grandmaster League with 1,128 points, with a win-loss record of 205 and 96, so definitely way up there on the ladder. And of course, ROOTFayth was recently in Masters, and when I looked up his stats, he's in Grandmasters now, so not sure when that happened. Congratulations to him for sure. I remember he was really high up in the Master League, so he is 130th in the Grandmaster League with 1,067 points and a record of 266 and 219, so definitely two very high caliber level players here playing in MLG Dallas. Of course, once again, this is losers round 8, a best of 3, and this is game 1. Now VTPokebunny putting down an early barracks and a gas, pretty standard build thus far. ROOTFayth taking that gas. You'll see a lot of Protoss players do that because they don't want their opponent to tech up really fast, and by taking that assimilator you can delay that cloaked Banshee tech that really scares the heck out of Protoss players everywhere. You can delay that by quite a bit. I mean, it doesn't completely eliminate it, you of course have to watch out for it, but it will come a little bit later, which means you can probably get away with a 3-gate expand build, which I would expect ROOTFayth to do. I mean, considering this map is so... it's big. Like, honestly, it is a big map. You'll usually see a lot of long macro games. A lot of players like to do fast expand builds, and speaking of fast expand builds, we do have VTPokebunny putting a tech lab on his barracks and getting a Marauder. So perhaps a 1 racked expand for him here. I'm a little bit surprised he's not researching anything in his tech lab, so we'll have to keep an eye on what he decides to do. And ROOTFayth putting up another gateway, so a little bit in the dark on what he's going to do so far, but once this Stalker gets out and gets rid of that SEV, of course, that's when we see the Protoss make a move towards a particular tech choice, and there we go, VTPokebunny putting down his command center after that barracks and getting a Marauder and Marine. I really like this play from VTPokebunny. You'll notice he's attacking the assimilator with both the Marine and the Marauder, so he wants ROOTFayth to know he has those Marauders, so when he sees this, when Faith sees this, he's like, hey, he could probably apply pressure soon. This is probably a 2 racks expand, and 2 racks expand is pretty darn powerful, but actually VTPokebunny is doing a 1 racks expand and definitely getting that expansion way before his opponent, so taking the early lead here, I would say, assuming this expansion does hold up. And oh my gosh, what do we have over here? ROOTFayth hiding a Twilight Council on the left side of this map. So definitely going for DT play. There's no reason to hide Blink. I mean, I guess you could try to hide Blink, but definitely the only reason you would hide important tech in any part of a large map like this is if he's going to rush for Dark Templar. So ROOTFayth definitely rushing for Dark Templar here. We'll have to see how effective it is. I mean, any engineering bay on the way? No. What other forms of detection? There's scans, so we'll have to keep an eye on the amount of energy that these orbital commands have when these Dark Templars do end up coming in. We'll see how much damage they can do. This is a very good build. A lot of players have been doing this since the recent patch because it transitions well into that speed lot high Templar composition that is so fun to play with, and charge lots and high Templars are so good. So looking for ROOTFayth, yeah, to take that expansion and then do some sort of tech up to charge lot and high Templar to keep an eye out for that. And of course, Archons it gets you those Archons that much faster. We do have a scan coming down from VTPokebunny, so maybe a false sense of security from him, perhaps. He sees that, he puts that scan down, sees an expansion, is like, hey, my opponent's expanding, I guess I shouldn't, I guess I don't have to prepare for a crazy amount of pressure like a 4-gate or a 3-gate Stargate or some build like that. So I actually want to see exactly what VTPokebunny has seen. So yeah, he's seen 2 gateways and 2 gases, so he could guess about the Dark Templars, but we'll have to see if he's going to be adequately prepared for that. I mean, he's not saving up any scans, so I really don't think he's caught wind of this at all, and also no engineering bay anywhere, so this could be a disaster for VTPokebunny, and well, a very good thing for his opponent, ROOTFayth, so we'll have to keep an eye on those Dark Templars when they do end up being warped in. There they go. We'll have to follow these into the base, being oh so stealthy. And I want to get the Pokebunny cam on just to see when he sees this and how he reacts. Oh, a turret is going up right now, so he definitely has caught wind of this, and there, a scan goes down, but does that Dark Templar take care of the SCV? Yes, it does. We'll have to get an SCV to that turret right away, and the Dark Templar is going to town in the main. So it looks like VTPokebunny did catch wind of this and did start that turret. So Dark Templar is going to work on SCVs and killing a supply depot. Only 2 kills to his name, so I wouldn't say this harassment has paid for itself thus far. But then again, Pokebunny losing a lot of mining time there. So we'll have to see what happens after this Dark Templar is killed. We can take a look at all the production tabs and all those nice little tools that Blizzard gives us, and we can see who truly is ahead in this game. This Dark Templar still has yet to be killed. I'm surprised VTPokebunny hasn't tried to build a turret anywhere near his main. I mean, I see one in the natural. I guess this is kind of close, but ideally maybe one back here, or maybe one over here, or maybe one in the mineral line. And this Terran infantry is looking everywhere for that Dark Templar, but that the Dark Templar remains in the middle line as these SCVs come back, so definitely doing some more damage there. A scan goes down, and the Dark Templar tries to flee away. Will he get out of vision? No, he won't. Still in vision of that scan, and VTPokebunny will finally be able to take out that Dark Templar. So let's go ahead and gauge what has happened here. We have to keep in mind that these tech buildings by ROOTFayth that are being hit, and look at this, High Templar are already out. So immediately getting that Templar Archives, and that storm is already halfway there. So how often do you see 10-minute storm, ladies and gentlemen? Well, we're about to see that in action, as honestly, this is a really interesting unit composition, because ROOTFayth, he does have 5 High Templars, but no real core army here. So honestly, I would be scared for him when this army ends up poking forward to his natural. He has to have some money storms to deal with this. Storm has just now completed, and these High Templar will be able to lay down some serious storms. And here we go, VTPokebunny poking and stimming forward, and there goes a huge storm on that entire army. Some nice splitting from VTPokebunny, but so many storms from ROOTFayth, actually doing a lot of damage to these Marines and Marauders. But is it enough? About 7 Marauders and 2 Marines that remain, doing so much damage to the remaining Stalkers, and another big side storm goes off. So only 4 Marauders and 1 Marine do remain, and I would expect ROOTFayth to be able to clean this up. So let's go ahead and discuss what happened there. The supply is now 56 to 49, so pretty even, I would say. Let's look at the income tab, 44 to 33. ROOTFayth is ahead in income and in supply. So yeah, I guess ROOTFayth got the better end of that engagement. I'm sure VTPokebunny wanted to do a little bit more damage there to make it worth it, but I'm not sure he was able to do that. And we do have a factory going down with a Hellion, so pretty interesting. I would expect that to switch to the starport. I don't think he wants Hellions at this point in the game. Probably to drop that starport on that reactor to get those medevacs out 2 at a time, so he can heal up his army and not be too afraid of stimming. He also have 3 barracks in his main, continuing to produce Marines and Marauders in a nicely saturated main mineral line as well as natural mineral line. The natural could use some more SCVs on it, but VTPokebunny is definitely building up those SCVs. And we do have a Ghost Academy going down, an appropriate response. When you see High Templars, of course, EMP is so important in this matchup. And it's pretty hard to micro that as a Terran player. I mean, it takes a lot to be able to partition out your army in between Marines and Marauders and Medevacs and Ghosts, to be able to get those money EMPs on to your Protoss opponent. So definitely a lot riding on how those EMPs turn out. We do have 2 Forges coming down from ROOTFayth, researching +1 army and +1 weapons, and also an additional gateway, along with a 3rd pretty soon. I would imagine he is putting a pylon here in preparation for that expansion. And at the same time, we also have a command center going down for VTPokebunny. So definitely the they have similar things on their minds concerning when they're taking their expansions, and we do have 2 medevacs being loaded up with Marines and Marauders. So VTPokebunny definitely looking to do some draw play, but he has to be really careful because feedback is pretty good against medevacs, and sometimes one-shot medevacs that have a lot of health, so he has to be careful about that. But it looks like ROOTFayth's army is a little bit out of position here, and I could see VTPokebunny doing a lot of damage here as ROOTFayth is continuing to advance to the middle of the map. And here we go, he does recognize the drop and does pull back, but VTPokebunny gets out of there immediately. Nova drop in the main, and the feedback does go down on the medevac, so the medevac won't be able to do any more healing. He will just drop all of his friends on the ground and probably, yes, flee to the corner of the map, leaving those Marauders and Marines to do work. And in the meantime, we have a drop at the natural expansion as well, but this will be cleaned up pretty easily, I would say. But at the same time, we have a small contingent force in the front taking out a pylon, and honestly, I'm not sure I agree with this decision by VTPokebunny, just throwing these units away. I mean, I guess if he can take that out, it would be worth it, but ROOTFayth does end up canceling that. So once again, I don't know if throwing all those units away was absolutely worth it. VTPokebunny finds himself down 106 to 77 supplies, so definitely not a good situation thus far for VTPokebunny, and ROOTFayth has to be feeling good about his chances. He once again, he has fought through so many players to get to this point in the losers bracket, does not want to be eliminated from MLG Columbus 2011, and here we go, he has decided it is his time to push. He feels good about his army composition compared to his opponents, and honestly, I do too. Only one ghost in this force from VTPokebunny. He really needs a good EMP, but honestly, I don't think it will matter. Here we go. ROOTFayth coming forward with a lot of Zealots, Archons, High Templar, Stalkers, and Sentries. You name it, you got it. And there's the GG with all the storms and feedbacks going down. So that is the end of game 1. VTPokebunny loses that game. ROOTFayth goes up 1-0. So VTPokebunny will be choosing the next map of MLG Columbus 2011. Go ahead and click that link at the bottom to join me in the next game. Thank you so much for watching.